Hello my little love bunnies, it's Andrea and welcome back to my channel. Today's episode is going to be a sip and tell, and if you're new here, that's where I tell a story time on my channel while drinking wine or juice, water, whatever I want. But today I happen to be drinking this nasty ass cheap wine that I picked up because it was 13% alcohol, and I should have known it was going to be gross, but I did know it was going to be gross, but I wanted that 13%, you know what I mean? So today's video is going to be about when my side dudes met, okay? Now, disclaimer, I don't condone cheating. I don't condone sleeping with multiple people. I was in college. I was wild. I was just trying to live my life to the fullest. And I thought that this was the way, right? I don't do that type of thing anymore. And first of all, I was only sleeping with one of them. Only sleeping with one. I wanted to sleep with the other one, but anyways, let me just go ahead and get into the story. I'm gonna try to make it quick because I have somewhere to be, but here we go. First side dude, we're gonna call him Ben. Ben was light skinned. He had like really pretty eyes, super duper handsome, right? I met Ben at a party. I was staying with my aunt at the time, and my cousin, who's a year younger than me, she invited me to a party. She was the party girl. I was the one that stayed home and studied all the time. So the only reason I had a life in my 20s was because I like piggyback off my cousin. I had kind of a boyfriend at this time, and I'll tell you guys how I met him and like how that tied in. Like it was a hot mess, but I'll basically tell you guys how I met my then boyfriend in a later story. But I was dating somebody and I ended up going to this party with my cousin. When I go to a party, I probably have like one or two good dances in me before I just, you know, decide to sip my drink and, you know, just do a little two-step on the wall or something like that. Like, that's me. I'm the one who's wearing a mini skirt and heels. Like, I can't be doing all that. Like, I'm just gonna keep it cute, do my little, you know, polite twerk on you real quick, and then, you know, I'm back to the bar. Like, I'm drinking. And this was a house party. Like, we didn't really go to clubs in Sacramento because the clubs were not popping. We used to call them functions. We would just, you know, be there at somebody's house, like turning up, drinking and stuff like that. I walk outside this person's backyard. Like I said, I don't know who threw this party. My cousin invited me. So I walk outside in the backyard and I see this fine guy. I see Ben, and he is so freaking fine. He's just my type. I really wanted to call him Hazel because his eyes are like hazily green, but that's a girl's name. But you guys could think of him as Hazel. I'm just gonna call him Ben, but he was fine. I'm telling y'all, he was fine. Me back then, I was real bold. I've never been the type to like chase a guy, but I'll let it be known that like I think you're cute. I remember he was talking or something like that, and I kind of like butted into the conversation. And my thing was, I always like to insult guys because they love that shit. I don't know why. I don't remember exactly how the conversation went, but he started paying attention to me, which is what I wanted. So I remember he gave me this nickname, Pearl, because this was around the time that all the girls were wearing those giant faux pearl earrings in their ear. I just had to hop on the trend, and that's what I was wearing that night. So he started calling me Pearl, even though I told him my real name. We're talking in the backyard, and I go back inside because, you know, you gotta give him a little bit, and then you gotta take it away, girl, and then you gotta give him a little bit more, and then you just gotta take it away and see if he bites. And he bit. I go back inside, I'm talking to my cousin or whatever, and here comes Ben. He's talking to me, and he's like, you know, I think you're fine. Like, you got a nice body, you're cute, I like your conversation, like, give me your number. Of course, I gave him my number. Now, my cousin, she knew that I had a dude. She knew the dude that I was dating, but, you know, she's my cousin. She's not gonna say shit. So, of course, I gave him my number, right? That's how I met Ben. After that, we did start talking. Every now and then we would text each other. When I moved to my grandma's house from my aunt's house, I would go see him sometime, either during the day or sometimes at night. I would pick him up. We would drive to the other side of town. He had like a plug. We would go and smoke with him, and then, you know, we would leave and we would just vibe and chill out talk in my car, then he would just go home, right? So that's Ben. Now I'm gonna tell you guys about, I'm gonna call him Ramon. Ramon I met in high school. I just always saw him as like a friend. I was never attracted to him. He was just like the class clown, super smart, dumb smart, long hair. Well, when we met, he was growing out his hair. He had like this cute little curly fro. He's Mexican, I believe. He's Mexican or some sort of Hispanic. We're gonna just call him Ramon, right? So I had several classes with Ramon. Like, we were in the same class. We were freshmen when we met. When I went back to that school for my junior year, he was there, longer hair, and he finally told me that he had a crush on me. And I was like, oh, you know, that's cute or whatever. He was like, yeah, I always thought, you know, you had a cute little shape. Like, man, my shape was like bomb in high school and in college and stuff like that. It's still bomb now if I keep up with it, but like, I'm just going through like a little bit of weight gain right now. Don't even worry about it. I'm about to get it back in shape. But yeah, he basically let it known that like he liked me or whatever. But at the time I had a boyfriend. I was really loyal to him. We were together for like 6 years. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. That's how I met Ramon. After high school, we didn't talk. And then we met again in college. We both went to the same college. We saw each other on campus and we started to rekindle our, you know, our friendship. The boyfriend that I had when I was in high school, he and I, we had broken up. It wasn't like a long breakup, but we had broken up at that time. And I'm telling you guys, like, I was so distraught. I was losing weight. Like, girl, it was that type of breakup where you just crying all the time. You don't want to eat. You can barely drink anything. You're just losing pounds. Like, that was me. I was so heartbroken when I met back up with Ramon in college. Ramon had also gone through a breakup with his girlfriend. You know, we kind of came to agreement that we were gonna like comfort each other. And when I say comfort each other, y'all know what I mean when I say comfort each other. We comforted each other for a while. I'll tell you guys how that played in with my boyfriend later on, but that's a different story. If you guys want that story, comment down below. That's an embarrassing story. This is why I don't cheat anymore, because I'm like really bad at cheating. But if you guys want that story, let me know down below. After Ramon and I stopped comforting each other, we're a little older now. I meet Ben at this party, right? And I start talking to Ben on like a friendship level. I really wanted it to be something more, but like as time went on, like I started to realize that it was just gonna be a friendship. But I'll get into that a little bit later as well. I was working at Target at this time. I first started working there when I lived in Dallas. And then when I moved back to California to finish college, I transferred my job to the Target next to my old college campus. So one day I was finishing my shift. I ended up turning off my light and I had just finished my last customer. I'm getting ready to leave like my cashier booth and I hear somebody say, "Can you ring me up?" So I look up and I see Ramon standing there. I had not seen Ramon in like a good it had been like 3 years. So when I looked up and I saw him, you know, standing there with like a couple items, I was kind of excited. I was like, yeah, come on. You know, he had gotten buff, his hair got longer, like he was looking kind of cute. He was looking a little cute. And like I said, I never really found him attractive like that, but he was looking kind of cute with his little buff self, right? So I ring him up and he's talking to me, gets my number again, and he wants to start comforting each other again. At this time, I had just broken up for like the second time with my boyfriend, the same boyfriend that I was with when I went to high school with Ramon. I didn't mind having a, you know, comfort buddy, and, you know, we started to talk. Even when Ramon and I were comforting each other in the beginning, I was never a fan of the sex. I was just never a fan of his performance like that, but I don't know, it was just comfort, right? It was just nice to be around somebody familiar, and he didn't treat me like a piece of meat, you know what I mean? So it was always good vibes with Ramon. I had a crush on Ben, something fierce. Like, I would go to his house and I would just be expecting something to happen. The nights that we would go smoke, like, I would just be expecting him to make a move. Like, I was prepared, I had protection on deck. Like, I was just waiting for him to make the move because I was ready. I was just ready. So I remember one night, Ben, he didn't hit me up or anything like that, and I was kind of sad about it, but Ramon hit me up. So I drive to Ramon's house and we're just chilling in the car, and at this time I wasn't really trying to do anything with Ramon. I really just wanted to talk, and you know, he was like, what are we gonna do, like, I'm bored or whatever like that. I'm like, I don't really know what's going on tonight, like, I haven't really talked to my cousin like that. Basically, Ramon was just looking to me for entertainment. So I was like, hold on. Ramon was like straight-laced. That's what we used to say in the back in the day. Straight-edged or straight-laced. Basically, Ramon didn't smoke and he didn't drink. So to go over to Ben's house or kick it with Ben, like, I knew it was gonna make Ramon uncomfortable, but like I said, I didn't like Ramon like that, but I really did want to be around Ben because I had a crush on him. I figured that Ramon wouldn't mind. And I know some people are gonna be like, that's like a dumb bitch move. I've made several dumb bitch moves when it comes to guys in my life. And I'm okay with that. I don't know, being younger, I was just not really considerate of people's feelings like that. Like, I was very, very selfish. It was just what I wanted and what I wanted only. So at that time, that's what I wanted. I wanted to hang out with Ben, and I didn't care if Ramon was uncomfortable. But he agreed. At any point, he could have not come with me. I ended up texting Ben. I was like, hey, are you free tonight? Like, what are you doing? I was still kind of upset that Ben hadn't hit me up that night, because it was almost an every night thing that I was hanging out with Ben. So I was kind of upset. So I hit him up first and I was like, what's up? Like, you know, what are you doing? And he was like, oh, I'm not doing anything. Like, do you want to come kick it? We could go smoke or something like that. I was like, yeah, of course I'm coming through, of course. So I asked Ramon, I'm like, hey, you know, I have this friend, he wants to go kick it and smoke and stuff. I know you don't smoke like that, so I mean, I could drop y'all back off at home. Like, we're literally right around the corner from your house, or you could come with me. It's no big deal. Ramon, he thought about it for a second, and then he was like, cool, like, I'll just go with you. Before we ended up going to Ben's house, Ramon did ask me if I slept with Ben, and I told him no, because it was the truth. And he was like, do you like him? And I was like, yeah, I kind of like him, but like, he doesn't like me back, so it's all good. He was like, fine, like, I'll go. So we ended up going to pick up Ben, and I introduced them. I'm like, hey Ben, this is Ramon, this is Ben, or whatever. Ben is in the front seat with me, and then Ramon is in my back seat. So I ended up driving us all over to Ben's homeboy's house. We do what we do, we roll up and stuff like that. And back then I had like a really low tolerance. I still have a low tolerance now, but back then, like, it didn't take that much to get me, like, I was tripping. So after we're done at Ben's homeboy's house, we drive back to Ben's house. We're parked outside Ben's gate and we're talking in the car. Now, this is the point where that ganja, that tree, it starts kicking in. I don't know what I was thinking when I linked up with Ben with Ramon in the car, but I wanted them to like be cool with each other. I don't know why. I think in the back of my head, I really wanted Ben to be jealous or something like that. But at the same time, I wanted them to like be cool so that, I don't know, we could just all have a good time. But the entire time, Ramon was really acting stuck up. Like, he didn't want to come out the car when we went over to his homeboy's house. He just stayed in the car the entire time. He was just acting like it just wasn't a good vibe. And I told him before we even went over there what we were gonna do, who we were gonna see. I let him know that he didn't have to come along, but he decided to anyway. This part is embarrassing. I literally started crying in the car. They were looking at me like, what the hell is going on? So they start asking me like, what's the problem? What's the problem? Are you good? And I was like, I just wanted you guys to get along. And they're like, what? What do you mean? You guys just don't seem to like each other, and I just wanted everybody to be chill and cool with each other. Like I was bawling my eyes out because they weren't vibing the way I wanted them to vibe. Like I was tripping, y'all. I was on that good kush and alcohol. No, there was no alcohol. Maybe, I don't think so. I don't think there was no, but I was on that good kush and I was tripping and I wanted everybody to just be like, we're all one. And they weren't one with me. They're like, no, like we're cool, like we're good. I'm like, no, you're not. You guys didn't even like each other. And then Ramon, he doesn't even want to come out the car. Like, why didn't you come out the car? Like, I was just going in. They're like, okay, like maybe we should just get you home. But I just want you guys to be friends. They're like, we're friends. Like, chill out. We're friends, right? And I was like, no, you're not. But anyway, I finally calmed down. So Ben gets out the car. And I look back in the back seat and I'm like, Ramon, I'll be right back. Like, I just want to talk to Ben real quick. And he's like, cool. So I get out of the car and I catch up with Ben. I'm like, hey, Ben, like, I wanted to talk to you about something. And he was like, what's up? You know, we've been kicking it for a while and I think you're like real cool and stuff like that. I just want you to know that I kind of like you. And I feel like you like me too. He was like, well, I mean, I don't really want to talk about that right now. And I was like, why not? I know you like me, just say it. Otherwise, we wouldn't be, you know, kicking it this entire time. He was like, I don't have to say it. I don't have to say it. If you know it, then you know it. I don't have to say it. And I was like, no, like, I want you to say it. He was just not wanting to say it. He was like, I'm going to go inside now. Like, I don't think this is the best time to talk about it. You brought this dude over here and I know you guys smashed and da-da-da. Like, it's not a good time to talk about this right now. And I was like, I don't care about Ramon. Like, I just want you to say that you like me back. And he was like, I'm just not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. I started to feel real dumb at that point, and I was like, okay, whatever, like, all right. And he was like, okay, like, I'll just talk to you later. After that, Ben went back inside and I go over to my car, getting ready to get in the front seat. So I realized that the door is locked. And I look up into the window and Ramon is sitting in the driver's seat. I'm like, what are you doing? And he just has his hands on the wheel and he's just looking straight forward with a straight face. I'm like, okay. So I go around to the other side and I get into the passenger seat. I'm like, Ramon, what are you doing? Like, why are you in my driver's seat? I didn't say you could drive. He's like, I'm taking you home. I'm driving us home. And I'm like, what do you mean you're driving us home? He's like, you're messed up. Like, I don't want to get into a car accident. He was so like, ugh, he's such a buzzkill. He is just so like stick in the mud. I don't have social media. I don't drink. I don't smoke. Like, he just thought he was just so much better than everybody because he's so disciplined and he doesn't, you know, give in to desires and pressure and whatever. He's like, I don't want us to get into an accident. Like, you're not gonna be able to drive us home safely. I'm like, I'm good. Like, I can do this. Like, I just smoked a little bit. Like, I'm good to go. Meanwhile, like, I'm just like, I'm faded as hell. But like at that point, you know, when you're in your early 20s, well, I'm not gonna say everybody does it, but you kind of, when you're out partying, there's not really a designated driver. You just feel like you can do it. Like, that's what I used to do. Like, I just knew that I could get us home, basically. And I'm like, you live right around the corner, Ramon. I can at least get you home. You don't have to worry about me. Like, I'm going to drive my car. You're not going to drive my car. And he was just like, no, I'm not letting you drive. We ended up going back and forth for like a good 3 minutes until I finally just snatched my keys from him. I believe they were in the ignition. We didn't have push to starts all over the place like we do now. But I grabbed my keys out of the ignition from him and I'm like, get out of my seat. I will drive us home. I mean, there was nothing he could do at that point. I had the keys. I don't know why he didn't just literally drive off. I was sitting in the seat, doors closed. He has the key in the ignition. I don't know. I think he just wanted my attention because he just didn't like, he just wasn't vibing the whole entire night. I told him that I had a crush on this boy. I told him he can stay home, and he decided to come along. I didn't think that he had feelings for me, but apparently he did, and he got jealous that I was with, you know, I was paying more attention to Ben. I tried to pay him attention, but he just didn't want to do what we were doing. He knew what we were doing. He knew what we were doing, and he decided to come anyway and ruin his own night and try to ruin mine. There is more to this story involving my boyfriend and my boyfriend finding out about both Ben and Ramon. So if you guys want to hear that story time, then comment down below. That's the end of this story. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.